All right, guys, what's up? If there's one thing that is going to help you pass your tech sales interviews, it's actually understanding how sales works. Now, no, you don't need actual sales experience. And yes, everybody has sales oriented traits and skills that they've developed in their lives, no matter what they do. And that's why anyone can get into this. But a problem that I see with a lot of people who go into interviews is they don't actually understand how sales works and how tech sales actually works, like how it works. And the problem with this is there's really no excuses not to actually understand this and do your research. There's countless of free information, free certifications that these companies actually even offer people, like from Salesforce and HubSpot, to help you actually understand sales. And so in this video, I'm going to help you understand everything that you need to know about sales so that you can go into the interviews and be able to handle when they ask you hey, what if you have a big list of accounts? What would you do to narrow down what to look at, what to reach out to? Or hey, what if you are trying to break into an account that we give you? What would your process look like? So what they're testing you for is hey, does this person have business acumen? Does this person actually understand tech sales, right? There's no excuses not to. So let's get into it. So imagine that there is a company, right? Now, a lot of tech sales companies are going to be what's called B2B. B2B is business to business, okay? This is the most common type of tech company out there. They sell to other businesses. They are a business and they sell to other businesses, okay? The other thing is B2C. That's where a business sells to consumers. Like if I sell makeup, for example, I sell to consumers who use makeup. Whereas if I sell a hiring software like Greenhouse, for example, I am a business and I sell to other businesses that are trying to hire people for their business, right? And so usually in tech sales, you are trying to sell other businesses your software, okay? So that's literally it, super simple. So what we have here is a building. Am I the best artist? Yes, I'm actually very good at drawing, but today, no, because this is a whiteboard, which is okay. So this is a building, you have different people, okay? There's a janitor down here, right? He's mopping the floor. I'm sure he's very happy. There's also someone up here that is a leader type of person who maybe hires a team of sales reps. Let's say there's sales reps here. Let's say that we're selling to other businesses a software that helps them manage their sales, that manages their revenue, helps their sales reps organize their data and make calls to other salespeople. Just to keep it simple, this is for this example, okay? So who we have here is the sales manager, okay, or sales director, the sales leader, okay? Let's just call them that. We have a sales team here, and this is the company that we might want to sell to. So every company is different, right? We might have a company over here that sells hot dogs, right? Maybe they manufacture hot dogs. Would we want to sell them a sales software? Probably not, okay? And so this is the first lesson I want you to understand. We don't sell to everybody. Sales isn't just hey, I'm going to sell everybody my thing and get as many people to get help from my thing as possible. It's not efficient. Not everybody has the problems that you solve. Not everybody can even be helped by the software that you solve, right? That you have. And so if we're a sales rep, let's put ourselves over here. Hey guys, I just realized that I forgot to move my camera, and so what I'm drawing behind here is just a stick figure sales guy with a laptop. It's not a big deal. I realize some of the stuff is going to be cut off, but just listen to what I'm saying and I promise you're going to understand. It's going to be helpful. All right. Let's say I'm a cool sales rep. For some reason I want to have a top hat. I don't know why. I just feel like drawing a top hat. It looks like I'm a pilgrim or something. So let's say I actually look pretty spooked out. Okay, so let's say I'm a salesperson. Here's my laptop. And I'm just chilling in my sweatpants, some baggy sweatpants here. We're having fun with my videos, guys. I'm not making high dopamine content, okay? If you're looking for me to keep your attention this whole video, I'm sorry, this channel is not for you, honestly. This is for people who have the patience and time to actually digest information, and those are the only people who are going to break into this space anyways. I'm sorry to give you a hard truth. You need to have an attention span. Okay. So we have businesses. Okay, so this is me as a sales rep. All right, I'm in my little bubble. So you need to understand the first thing that I just said. Don't sell to everyone. You don't sell to everyone. Okay? And so they want to know that you understand that. Now what you can do is you can get strategic, and usually you're going to do something called prospecting. Okay. So one day-to-day of a sales rep is to prospect. What is prospecting? It's basically finding companies to reach out to. Okay. Now you're going to find tons of companies out there. They might even have lists of companies that they're going to give you that have thousands of companies. Now, remember the first lesson, don't sell to everyone. So what do? We prospect, we actually identify who's a good fit and who's not. And there's usually a specific criteria that determines that. And this is important to know because this is going to help you save time and make money. If you know what criteria you have for what a good fit is for your software that you're selling, whatever it is, in this case, we sell sales software. What criteria would that be? Okay, maybe they need to have sales reps. Maybe they need to be in a certain industry, right? Maybe you sell to specifically manufacturing companies who have sales reps, in which case maybe hot dogs would be it. But this is a type of manufacturer that doesn't have sales reps, so we're disqualifying them, okay? So we'd have a certain criteria. Maybe the criteria is also that they are growing, right? Because maybe that would indicate if a company's growing and has sales reps, maybe that's the point where they start actually needing a sales software. So maybe we can identify that, right? Maybe we sell to big companies. Maybe we don't sell to small companies that have like 100 employees. Maybe we sell to 1,000+ employees because that's how our software is built. It's going to be different for whatever software, but whatever software is all going to have a criteria. They're going to have a criteria for what makes a good fit for them. And this is going to help you save time and make more money because then if they give you a list of accounts, you know how to prospect. You find companies that are a potential good fit. So this building over here, we've identified they have sales reps. They're growing. And by the way, you do this just by looking at their website, looking at their LinkedIn, seeing how many people they have. There's so many different ways to do research. You could use AI, like all this stuff. We see that they have sales reps. We actually checked the website and we found out they have hiring posting for sales reps. So they're growing to have even more sales reps come and chill in this little part of the room. Okay. And we sell to big companies. And so this company has, let's say 500 employees in total. Okay. That's a bigger company. And so this is perfect for our software because it just has the capacity to handle a big company. And so we check all our criteria for this company. And so I would prospect into it, which I'm going to talk about the next thing, which is going to be outreaching. Okay. Now, sometimes these words are used intangibly, like prospecting could also mean finding the right company and also reaching out. But I'm just going to make it simple for you guys. Outreach. Okay. This is going to be calls and LinkedIn messages. Now, before we get too ahead of ourselves, and emails too. So before we get too ahead of ourselves, you're not just going to find one company. Usually you're going to find like 5 to 10 companies a day that you want to do this to. Outreach. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what that looks like. But let's say that's the process. So if someone asks you on an interview, hey, how would you like narrow down a list of 1,000 accounts? Well, I'd find the criteria that makes a good fit, and I'd select the potential best good fits out of that list, and I'd get rid of the rest, and I'd focus my energy and time on the ones that actually would probably most likely buy our software so that I'm not spending 5 days going through a list of 1,000 accounts to guess if they're a good fit. Okay. That's not how you do the job. Okay. So let's clear some space. We're going to go into outreach. By the way, how's your guys' day going? Let me know in the comments how your day's going. I'm enjoying more and more making videos for you guys, and I'm experimenting with my styles. I know I've had longer 1 hour full videos before in the past. I know I've had full guides. I have a full book that you can check out in the third link in the description if you want like a step-by-step, absolute scratch beginner understanding of tech sales with also one of my favorite strategies to breaking in and standing out among the competition. That's third link in the description if you want to check that out. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you're feeling. If you had some breakfast yet. I haven't had breakfast yet, and I'm just like, honestly, like I'm hyper focused and laser focused. Sometimes I like to do this. But okay, outreach. So now this is where we actually have to understand outreaching people. So how is a sale made? Ask yourself that. How is a sale made? Well, you need to find somebody, which we've done already through prospecting, that is probably a good fit for your service, right? The next thing we do is we need to have a conversation with them. Now in tech sales, this takes place via outreach because you're remote in your sweatpants, working from home or working in an office, whatever you like to do, because you have that freedom in tech sales, which is why I like it so much. But it's outreach because we're not going door to door. We're not like face-to-face selling. We're sending emails and selling through the digital screen, right? But in essence, the goal is to have a conversation. We're just trying to have a conversation. Now, sometimes it can just be over email where we go back and forth. Sometimes it could be over call. Sometimes it could be over LinkedIn. Heck, there's so many channels you can use these days to find people and get in touch with people to have a conversation. Now, this isn't just a conversation. I lied to you, okay? Conversation could be me talking about what I had for lunch yesterday. Does that get us the outcome of a sale? No. And so we're having a conversation in where we're trying to identify a few things. Now, this is the framework you can use. It's called BANT. Okay, this is what's called a qualifying framework. We want to qualify to see if this is actually a worthy opportunity to have on a meeting. Because the ultimate goal is meeting, guys. In sales, you are responsible for booking. Why am I having trouble today? Booking meetings. Okay, this is the entry level role in tech sales. It's an SDR, BDR role. And so what you're responsible for is booking a meeting. Okay, guys, there's no other tech sales channel out there that's actually giving you guys the real understanding of like how tech sales works. This video is literally going to prime you for everything you need to know about how it works to be able to get through these interviews and also be confident you can like actually like get the gist of this thing when you get started, which by the way, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. And these companies also have training programs and they have ramp programs to ramp you up. They don't just tell you, hey, you got to sell this amount from the start. No, you slowly work your way up as you learn the space, the industry, and these companies know that, okay? But sometimes in competitive roles, they test people to see if they've done their homework on like understanding this because there is no excuse not to. Okay, and I'm helping you with that. But this is one of the biggest gaps I see in the tech sales space. There's nobody making videos about understanding sales. Okay, so back to the conversation. So subscribe and like if you feel like you're getting value. So back to the conversation. Budget. Okay, this is what you're having the conversation about. Now, this isn't the first thing you're having a conversation about, but this is how to qualify it because we want a qualified meeting. We don't want a meeting with someone who has no money, is not the right person, is the janitor, doesn't have a need, and isn't even able to buy it because they're in a contract with something else and they wouldn't be able to buy it until that contract's up. Timeline. Okay, so there's budget, authority, need, and timeline. Now, I start with need first. This is just the most natural way. The first part of the conversation, we want to identify if they have a need. So what you do is you reach out over email, call, or phone, and you say, hey, I noticed. And then you call out the criteria that you noticed. I noticed you guys are growing, that you have a big sales team looking to hire more. And I noticed you guys are a pretty big company. We work with lots of pretty big companies. Look, the biggest challenges that people face that we speak with is they're either having a hard time tracking their reporting, analyzing their sales revenue, whatever the top challenges are that your software has, whatever it is, it's different for the software. It's going to be that, or just staying on top of follow-ups for their sales reps so they can book meetings, right, and get money in. So are you seeing any of that? And this is where we identify a need. If they're not seeing any of this, then I'm sorry, it's disqualified. They don't have a need. You can't sell someone who doesn't need someone. You can't sell someone something they don't need or want. And so they wouldn't want this unless they have a need, really. Now, there's some things that people might not need, but they want, like cake and ice cream that you can still sell people. But the software isn't really like as exciting as cake and ice cream. And so you really can only sell software to people who need it. Okay? For the most part. And so are you seeing any of that? And this is where you'd have a conversation about need. Now you might uncover, we are actually seeing that. Why do you ask? Oh, well, look, we've helped many people with that. Blah, 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 blah. Are you the right person to speak with about potentially exploring how we could help? And this is where you go to authority. For example, if we called the janitor, they would not even be plugged in enough to even know about the need or the problem. Now, we might get someone who says they have a need, like if we accidentally call the sales rep, they might say, I do need that, but I don't have the decision-making power. I don't have control over the software that I'm selling, right? So this is where we ask, who is, right? And if it's not them, that's when we would end the conversation and call that person or email or outreach that person, because ultimately we can't book meetings with everybody. We can't book meetings with people who aren't actually able to explore and make a decision about the software we want, okay? That's how you piss your account executives off, which are basically the closers that you work under. If you book them meetings with people they can't buy, that's spending their time on people that they can't actually sell to. And so this is why authority is so important to qualify for, okay? The next thing is budget. So yeah, obviously, like, hypothetically, if this were to help you, like, does your team have the funds or resources to be able to potentially invest in something like this? If they say no, then okay, that's probably an indicator that we maybe need to follow up when they have it. Or we just shouldn't speak with them at all because they can't afford it, right? And so this is why it's important to qualify, right? We could spend 7 calls exploring the coolest software in the world to someone, but they can't even afford it anyways. By the end of that call, you've spent a week, 2 weeks stressing, worrying about them, speaking to them, and they can't even buy it. So this is why it's important to qualify. The next thing is timeline. Usually they might be in a contract, okay? They could be in a contract. And if so, when is that contract up? When is the best time to explore something like this? Now, if they're in a contract, you can still explore it ahead of when their contract expires, because sometimes this stuff takes time, and that's okay. But to ask about timeline is so important. And now if you check these boxes, that's when you get them on a meeting, okay? So these hiring managers might ask you, hey, like, let's say I give you a 500 person account and like, walk me through this, how you would structure like breaking into it, right? They might ask you that question because you should know it, okay? And now I'm giving you guys the real stuff. I'm giving you guys the real stuff. I'm not, yes, this is easy if you can prepare in the right way and anybody can do this, but yes, there's some gaps. There's some knowledge gaps, right? Okay. And guys, just side note, this is why I have been helping people for over a year now in my one-on-one mentorship. I have been taking on tons and tons of clients recently. I've been helping them get interviews at some of the biggest companies out there, like Deal, HubSpot, 1Password, like all these places. And you know, my clients have been getting amazing results over time. And if you feel like you're overwhelmed by this all, and I've helped people do this from absolute scratch, people who are 19, literally out of college. I've personally worked alongside people who were account executives at 20 years old, working in Salesforce at 19 as BDRs, like making 6 figures without any college degree, without any experience. So I absolutely know what it takes. It takes a little bit of skill development as well, okay, to break in. If you want to get to a company of that stature and make 6 figures, 10K plus per month, close to 20K per month, okay? And so this is why I help people in my one-on-one mentorship. So if you're interested in exploring that, first link in the description is where you can book a call with me for free, where I can walk you through what my mentorship looks like and if it makes sense for you. It's a low pressure call. Usually people get value out of just jumping in alone because I'm going to give you some coaching either way on, hey, this is something you should do. It's something you shouldn't do. A lot of people like want to start a business. Maybe you should just start that. I'm going to be unbiased, but I'm going to help you in your situation. And if it makes sense to talk about my mentorship, I'll let you know. So first link for that. Anyways, the way that I would answer that question, how would I break into an account and structure my outreach? Okay, like first thing, I would look at the decision makers and I would figure out if the company fits that criteria of what is a good fit. And then I'd look at the decision makers because I don't want to speak to the janitor, and I would outreach them via call, LinkedIn, emails, and until I got a conversation, however long that took, until they agreed to have a conversation with me, or until I was able to qualify them using Bant on if there actually is, you know, if it's worth having that meeting. And then I would book that meeting, right? So I'd figure out if they're a good fit using my criteria. I would outreach them, the decision makers, not the janitor or anybody else that can't buy the software, via calling, LinkedIn, emails, personalizing it to them, calling out some challenges, and try and get a conversation to where I could qualify and see if it's worth having a meeting, in which case I would book it. And that's what I would do. And I wouldn't give up until I had got a yes or a no to a meeting, or until I disqualified them. Okay. This is so important to know because that's the whole thing. And now in tech sales, the more meetings you book, the more money you make. Okay. I know this is a little down from what you guys can see, but The more meetings you book, the more money you make. That's SDR, BDR. That's the entry level role. You don't need any experience to do this, but you need to know how meetings are booked because that's what you're doing. And so if there's someone who knows how meetings are booked and they're on a hiring manager's call, and there's someone who doesn't know how meetings are booked, I'm sorry, they're going to take the one who understands it. Okay, even if they have less experience, sales experience, because they understand tech sales. So that's how tech sales works, guys. And from there, just to go even further, the account executive has the meeting. You don't even have it if you're an SDR. Now, I've been an account executive, and what you do there is you just do deeper discovery. You deeper qualify it. You deeper go into what's the need, what's the problems, what's their goal, and you basically show them the software in relation to how it can solve that. Okay? Now, usually if you go through all of that, the person is excited to solve their problem or reach their goal, and so that's where you present them the investment. Okay? And that's how the cash is brought into the company. But as a BDR, you make cash based on how many meetings you book, okay, usually. And so, I mean, if you get in the right role, like I've personally, 7 months into my first, good SDR role, because like I'll tell you a story, the first SDR role I got into was, it was a startup, and it was a small team, and it didn't have structure. It didn't have people to learn from that were hitting quota. Actually, nobody was really hitting targets. It was just me and a few other sales reps, and I struggled for a long time. But when I got into the right role, when I got the right mentorship and knowledge and I understood things, 7 months in, I started to make a 6-figure income, okay? I then ended up making consistent 10K per month. I had outlier months where I made almost like 20K. I probably made like close to 19K in a month is probably like my highest month. And I took it as long as I needed to move into business, which has always been my goal. And this is the thing too, guys, you can be honest with these hiring managers. Like, they want to know you. You could tell them whatever your goals are, because a lot of people watch my channel. You want to be an entrepreneur one day. You want to build something greater. You want to actually sharpen a skill set instead of just working a 9-to-5 hourly job that doesn't give you any skills. You're just kind of like texting in group chats to kill time or tapping away on like some numbers stuff, okay? And just getting paid by the hour, where no matter how much energy you put into that hour, you're going to get paid the same, and you're just going to slightly incrementally increase until you're 60, old, tired, and then you have the promise to enjoy life. I'm sorry, that's just not the route that I like, and not the route that I teach people on my channel. If you're someone who wants freedom, if you're someone who wants to build skills and leverage that actually unlock your potential as a human being, that open up new opportunities in your future, whether it's business, whether it's getting this other career where you can know how to sell yourself, whether it's understanding how the world works and how the economy moves so that you can be financially better off. Sales is going to set you up for that. Okay, it's the most autonomous role I know, specifically tech sales, remote sales, because you can work basically from anywhere once you learn these skills. And it's lucrative because software is not expensive to replicate, and therefore you can sell a high volume of it. And the bigger problems that it solves, the more higher priced it is and the more money you make. And it's the future. It's never going to go out of style. Technology is the future. AI is also the biggest thing in the tech space. AI is the biggest thing right now. It's always going to be. This is the way the world is shifting, technology. And so getting into this space, you're going to be understanding how the world is going to be working and setting yourself up for a very financially well-off future, a very free future, and you're going to build yourself as a person and unlock your potential underneath, okay? So that's why I like sales so much. If you want to watch more videos, watch my channel, stick around. I'm passionate about helping people. I've been doing this for a while. It gives me nothing but joy to help someone break into this space and make that quantum leap in income that happens, because when at the start of this role, if you get into the right role, you're going to at least be making around 6K per month at the start within your first few months, okay? That's the average, okay? There's people that can make a lot more than that. I know people who have made 6 figures in, I mean, look, I've personally done it, okay? But I know people who have gotten into roles where it's like literally $90,000 on target earnings, okay? From their start, just because that's how lucrative the space is, right? Now, is this role easy? No. Is it simple? Yes. Does it get easy the more you stick with it? Yes. Is there a learning curve and a hard period that you have to go through and a knowledge gap? Yes. But that's something that I help people with, and something that if you stick with this, you will be able to make it, okay? I hope this inspired you. Again, if you're looking for one-on-one mentorship to hold your hand and fast track this process for you and ensure you get into the right role and not a startup or anything that isn't going to actually give you what you need, First link in the description, book a call with me. Second link in the description is my live community that I'm building. This is for people who might not be able to invest in one-on-one close quarters mentorship with me, which is cool. I want to help as many people as I can, and so I made that very affordable for people. I still give you hands-on help in my live group calls that we have, where I go person to person and help you where you're stuck. In that community, I also have a full A to Z course on tech sales that literally walks you through and holds your hand through the digital screen, showing my screen, what to do, what to say on the interviews, what to prepare for, how to find the right companies, how to vet them out. And that's all in that community. So check that out. Second link in the description. Third link is my free book. Okay. If this book has helped people from absolute scratch get into tech sales, don't take it lightly. Check it out. It's free. There's no reason not to download it and check it out. Okay. So that's all for this video. I enjoyed making this one. Hopefully it added some color to your understanding of sales, and I hope to see you in another one. I'm out for now. Bye.